an experience.
We talked about this before. We need to find a cul-de-sac and all buy houses there.
You mean the cult?
Yes.
I know.
Well, you think a ranch would do the trick? It's tough to get people to live on a ranch.
No, the way you're talking about, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's not that hard. Like, I think the way you do it is in phases, right? So, like, the first thing would be just get the land, right?
Right.
And then
hire an architect.
Yeah, hire an architect, and then
bring in Alex Gray.
Yeah.
that thing that he did in upstate New York.
It's beautiful.
Have you been there personally?
Yeah.
And what Alex has done the best is capture oh, I know what he's doing. Yeah, there's a trip to me part to that.
I mean, this is that, right?
Right.
And so we have a thought, and we're thinking to ourselves, oh, I just got a good idea. Or are we just kind of am I just seeing who I actually am? All I can do, I'm seeing myself in you, which is, I think, what is happening in this realm anyway. It's painting colors onto the universe of infinite phenomena that your brain is like doing out of habit. Oh, really? Is that the instincts you learned? That's for sure.
Like they're not really connecting with you, or they're pretending to connect with you, and you're like, whoa, I got a weird vibe from this guy.
Yeah, you're looking at Samantha, but you're still seeing this thing, and that's the projection.
And a lot of it has to do with how you're thinking, which is weird. It's like, is the way you're thinking actually affecting those things? Or is the way you're thinking affecting your perception of whatever this energy is and how it manifests itself visually?
Well, I mean, this is that, right? Even in what you're saying, there's this assumption that your thinking is separate from the thing. The question is, how powerful is that projection? Because sometimes you start projecting onto someone how you think they are, and if that person's weak or insecure, they'll start acting the way you think they are.
Yes.
Now your projection has sprung to life in front of you because you've essentially animated a person with your expectation of them. And then, because that person is acting the way you thought they would act, because they don't know the fuck they are, you're making monsters with your imagination.
Well, that's what cult leaders do, right? That's how you start a sex cult. that thing that he did in upstate New York.
It's beautiful.
Have you been there personally?
I've been there I haven't, unfortunately, I haven't been there since its completion. I don't even know if it's completed, but I've been there in the early phases. And yeah, that for sure is a temple. Like, it's no joke. It's not like they're just saying it's a temple. That's a real.
And the way he printed those weird faces, those multi-feature faces, and used them in the corners of the building. What does he call it again?
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Cosm.
Oh, Cosm. Yeah, that's
New
right.
York State town.
Yeah.
And they're a legit
Entheon.
religion. Entheon, that's right.
And they're an actual religion, which they are.
They are.
I mean, that is a
actual
religion.
Yeah, it is a religion. And by the way, a religion doesn't want anything from you. Like they're not trying to get 10% of your money.
No.
They're not giving you a bunch of rules to follow.
Nope. It's painting colors onto the universe of infinite phenomena that your brain is like doing out of habit.
You can definitely tell if a person's really fucking weird, though. You can tell if a person's off, like they're not really connecting with you, or they're pretending to connect with you, and you're like, whoa, I got a weird vibe from this guy.
Yeah, we don't know that if we had a different way of quantifying time and space, we might have just seen some ethereal mist drift through us that produced a thing we called a thought that we thought must be us. So you look at a thing in that realm and it's shifting and converting, and you notice that conversion seems to be happening in relation to like how you're feeling. And, now you're in a chicken or the egg conversation, which is like, who's reflecting who here? Like, which of us is like real and which of us isn't? Or are we just kind of am I just seeing who I actually am? But because I live in a world of individuality, and I live in a world where there's a separate quality to things, I have to see you as separate. And a temple was a place that allowed that connection to be refined, purified, intentionalized. And in that, there's a solidification called inspiration or art or whatever the name is you want to give it. But it's like output from a place that maybe is, a few floors up from the one we're at, that's having a pretty wonderful party right now. And like part of what we do is like allow it to drip into this realm, which is potentially a denser realm. We're in the realm of matter. It's dense, and like ideas, if you look at your ideas, they're light. They're like, they don't have at least my ideas, like they're not like heavy. They're
You know, I mean, we want to assume that we're really interacting with something, right?
Yeah.
And coming up to that, like walking up to that front door, and you're like, oh my God, what the hell am I looking at?
Dude, when I was on tour, they let me park my tour bus there because we needed a place to sleep for the night. And it hadn't even gotten to that phase, but I had crazy dreams just
my
sleeping
God.
there. Yeah, it was wild, man.
That's probably like one of those if you build it, they will come things. Like, do you imagine how hard you would trip inside that place? Do you know what I'm saying?